Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, money. Ho. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I'm your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning fan show. That's right, everyone's a fan of something, and we have got something for every fan, especially if you're a fan of that money, and, of course, the 49ers. Kittle signed! Oh! George Kittle is signed with the 49ers on a 5-year deal. I know, I can't contain myself, really. It's not even headlines yet, and we're already talking about the biggest headline from the day. The George Kittle signed! Watch me! Yeah, I can't play the music that's in my head right now for copyright reasons, but you got me, and that's, a close second, if you want to look at it that way. We will get to headlines. I'm just overwhelmed with excitement right now. And if you're wondering, but weren't you nervous, like even just a little bit? Do I look like the kind of guy that was nervous about whether or not we were going to come to terms with the people's tight end, George Kittle? Come on now. No sweat whatsoever. I knew the whole time. Welcome once again. This is episode 467. We are here in celebration of big contract signings. There's been a couple. We'll get to that. We also are here to celebrate and support women in sports, like my special guest, Destiny Brown of the Quad City Steamwheelers. She and I had a fantastic conversation. And yes, for the first time since episode 460, you're seeing a not-so-magical wardrobe change. You'll see me wearing something slightly different when the interview portion of the show comes up. But what a blessing in disguise. Iowa and part of the Midwest got ripped apart by this land hurricane thing. I forget what the name of it even is, but it was a destructive storm, severe weather to the fullest extent. And so a lot of them have been without power. Destiny was worried if she was going to be able to even do the interview with me because there was no power and cell reception was real shoddy. We got it done, though, and then people kept messaging me once I announced who the special guest was, and they're like, man, I'm going to miss it. We don't have power, and cell reception's just been crap lately. And I said, okay, we're going to call an audible. What do you guys think about if I postpone the episode a night and we put it out Thursday? And they're like, yeah, that should work. I think we're already getting up to where we need to be. We should be fine by then. So out of the tremendous amount of respect I have for the Steamwheelers fans, the people of the Midwest, those of Fan Nation in the center part of the nation, we decided to push it back. And good thing we did, because there's some big news today, which we are going to get to right now. So here we go with today's headlines. Headlines, of course, brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. They can customize your world, and there's a variety of ways that they can do it. They can do jerseys, they can do shirts, polos, hats, beanies, tablecloths, stickers, koozies, trophies, awards. If you need something for marketing, promotional, personal, or other, Dynamite Enterprises is the place that can do it for you. They do a great job. Ethan oversees the whole thing. If you know what you want or have a question, email Ethan@DynamiteEnterprises.com, and he's going to answer any questions you have, give you a great quote, tell him the fan show sent you, and he is going to hook you up. So Dynamite Enterprises, customize your world. George Kittle signed with the 49ers. Roll the highlight tape. That's right, George Kittle has signed a 5-year, $75 million extension with the San Francisco 49ers. It is $30 million guaranteed and an $18 million signing bonus. This took a while, okay? I think we can all agree that some, even the most confident and proud 49er fans such as myself, may have been just a wee bit nervous that, not that he wouldn't play for the 49ers this year, just that he wouldn't be the happy-go-lucky, oh, hey there, George Kittle that we all know and love. But now that deal is done. And so he sets the market for tight ends, the highest paid tight end, 12th highest paid receiver in football history. And then, right after that, the Chiefs were like, hey, hold my beer. And they went and signed Travis Kelce to a 4-year extension, locking him in with the Chiefs for the next 6 years. $57 million deal. Holy crap. NFL, you're crazy. I love you. But you're crazy. Like, I can play tight end, I think. Good enough where if more players opted out and you were really hurting, I could strap them on and be ready to go. All right? So my contact information is in my reel, and my Twitter handle's right down there. So if you need me. All right, moving on. We also have that it is less than a month until NFL season is supposed to kick off. I say supposed to because college football conferences, not as a whole, on the graphic, the question was college football canceled? Not quite. The conferences that have canceled are merely postponing until spring. That would be the Big Ten and the Pac-12. That was breaking news earlier this week. Big Ten was preparing a statement to say that they were canceled, but they held off because they were going to see what other conferences would join their cause, maybe, but join them in at least postponing until spring, which I don't know what that does for spring sports in general, let alone college football. But Pac-12 said, yeah, we're on board with you, and so that hits the Northwest hard because they love their football up there. I'm not saying that other parts of the country don't, but you get what I mean, right? And then the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12 said, not so fast, Mr. Corso. We're going to play, or at least we're planning on playing. They've released revised versions of their conference schedules, and they intend to play. And the college football voice was very strong with the hashtag we want to play. They said if a player in the NFL can opt out of their contract, why can't we as players opt in? Very good question. So I say that we're less than 30 days away from when the NFL is supposed to start because, as I've said for weeks, and right now all eyes are on the NFL to see what sports post-pandemic but current corona will be like. I really don't know what this is going to look like, but here we are, and we're going to give this a go. They're spending money like everything is fine and dandy on tight ends nonetheless. Kittle and Kelce agreeing to extensions for a lot of money, and I'm sure more contract signings and agreements are on the way. So NFL, once again, you are on the clock. Moving on, we also have that the NBA playoffs, the stage is just about set. 7 of the 8 matches are ready to go. We have matchups tonight, probably happening right now as you're watching this, and then maybe even a little later on between Milwaukee and Memphis, Dallas and Phoenix, San Antonio and Utah, and Portland and Brooklyn. So I can't wait to see how this NBA bubble season plays out now that we're finally at the post of its bubble season, and we're gonna get ready to crown a champion. Asterisk on the champion? I don't know. We will see. The NAL has announced this morning another expansion team, Albany, formerly the Albany Empire of the Arena Football League, the last champion of the Arena Football League. But will they be the last ever champion of the Arena Football League? That remains to be seen. But for right now, they are the last champion of the Arena Football League. And now they join the NAL, the National Arena League, after inking a 3-year deal with the Times Union Center. And that was the big pause because it was announced a couple of weeks ago that this was the plan, but that no documents no agreement had been made official just yet. And there was some struggles there. Otherwise, it should have been done from the get-go. I had heard a rumor that the reason that nothing had been signed yet is because Times Union Center was very hesitant to work with the National Arena League. I'm going to assume because of all the stuff that happened with the New York Streets team last year and theft in the locker room and things like that. It's not a given that just because you don't have a team or you don't have sports in your market that you're just going to give it to the first team that comes along. So going from the Albany Empire to the Albany whatever they will be in the NAL probably took some doing, and that's why there was a bit of a delay between the announcement and the official announcement. But here we are, the 10th team for the NAL heading into the 2021 season. And if football's not your flavor, well, maybe you've been kicking back and catching up on your shows or rewatching your favorites. I'm getting caught up on Shameless with the missus. I started it way back in the beginning when it first premiered on Showtime, and it was addicting. I got through 2 seasons, and then my schedule got crazy, and all this other stuff happened. So now, she hadn't seen it before, so now we're getting all caught up. We're at season 5 now. So addicting. But if you're looking for other recommendations, we have the Real Film Nerds back for this week's Real Film recommendation.
What's going on, Fan Nation? It is your favorite movie critics in the world, Mysterious Mike Talent, and me, Matt. This week we have a movie that even Mysterious Mike here didn't even know existed. It's called An American Pickle, currently streaming on HBO Max. Like, we all need another frickin' streaming service to pay for. Mike, go ahead and give us a rundown a little bit on what An American Pickle is about.
All right, so American Pickle is an immigrant worker at a pickle factory, is accidentally preserved for 100 years, and wakes up in modern-day Brooklyn.
I'm kind of surprised Seth Rogen didn't write it. I think he might have a little bit of a writing credit on it. I don't know. It definitely comes off as his style.
He produced it, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, there were several producers, but he is one of the producers. And, yeah, this is an interesting movie, Matt. This kind of reminded me of an Adam Sandler movie in some ways.
Yeah, in other words, it was terrible, and people should not watch it.
It was just kind of silly in some aspects, but then there was, kind of this family undertone message in the movie. So
I thought it was very mean, to tell you the truth. I thought it was very mean in parts, and there's some parts that are silly and fun and interesting and cool, and there are parts that are really, really, really bad. So my personal recommendation is if you don't have HBO Max, this is not going to make you want to subscribe to it. It is not worth it. This is weird for their very first original. I think they're just banking on Seth Rogen's name.
But I wouldn't really say that if you don't have HBO Max, I wouldn't say it's worth trying to find it or anything.
No, it's not going to move you to subscribe to it. Nope,
no,
not at all. And honestly, man, the meanness, I mean, it's brutal. It's vicious. It caught me off guard. I did not think this movie was going to be like that. I thought it was going to be a lot better than it was.
No, yeah, I went in knowing nothing, so it was a surprise for me.
Well, all right. Richard, thanks for letting us pop in again and giving you our pick for the week, or not pick of the week, or not pickle for the week.
Ooh, good
Back
one.
to you, man.
All right, thanks guys once again for your excellent recommendation. Don't forget to give them a like and a follow on all major social media platforms, and check out their podcast. It's not bad. I recommend. 10 out of 10. Moving on, we do have that Brian Hicks has signed with the Carolina Cobras. Congratulations, Brian. Mr. Hicks, good friend of mine, phenomenal quarterback, is the epitome of an indoor journeyman quarterback. I really hope that he has a long, illustrious stay with the Carolina Cobras, maybe a championship in there somewhere for him. He definitely deserves it, and I would have loved to see him suit up with the Oakland Panthers in the IFL. But NAL, you got him. You got a good one. So Cobras and Coach Rez, talking to you. Take care of my boy, all right? So congratulations again, Mr. Brian Hicks. We also have that the Spring League is going to attempt to play in a bubble in Las Vegas. Now, I segue from that to this because Brian tends to disagree with me on certain ideas that I have, and that is that the IFL could conceivably play a season with sort of the neutral location, two-venue kind of setup. Not necessarily a bubble, but a similar concept. And we have until the new year to kind of work out the kinks and the details, but he doesn't think it can work without fans at all. And I don't think that, my idea called for fans. I want to see fans in those stands, but, I don't know if the IFL or any league that's not the NFL or college football can survive going back-to-back years without a season. But one of the things that really troubles me the most, though, is, and I'm not talking specifically about Brian. I get he has his concerns, that's fine. But there's people that have full on, scoffed at the idea and disagreed with me. Why is that the mentality right now? Shouldn't we be working together to figure out a way to have a sport that we've already gone a season without? These players are not getting any younger. They're not getting any opportunities any sooner. Like, they need a place to play. They need to be able to get film, and they need to be able to stay fresh and stay sharp. People need jobs. People need opportunities. So instead of, talking down to the one idea that's been floated around, why don't we work together to try to create some ideas to have an IFL season, to have any kind of indoor or arena football season? Because I'm sure that the NAL is not out of the woods just yet, even though they do start later in the calendar year. So let's come together, let's get some creative juices flowing, and let's figure out a way to have an indoor football season in 2021. The guys deserve it. They really do. The fans deserve it too. And I don't think that even if you couldn't have all the fans you wanted there, they would understand and they would probably support the season, knowing that you've done all that you could to bring them an IFL season. So let's work together on this. We need innovation and creativity, not negativity into just the first idea that comes along. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to get too riled up here on the show. And let's see what else we have here. So, as I mentioned, the hashtag we want to play, a lot of college players want to play despite where, what college they play for. So now you have this almost West Side Story divide between the Big Ten and the Pac-12, and then you have the SEC, ACC, SEC, and players from both sides. Some don't want to play, but a lot want to play, and they're trying to make their voices be heard. And I think that's great for them because, like they said, a couple of them, if you can opt out, why can't you opt in? And we announced that the Hall of Fame for the Fan Show has all 5 of its inductees. And I want to take a moment to congratulate all 5 of them: Amir Ishmael, Nick Hague, Cody Barber, my wife Danja Tiemann, and of course the late Mike Ellis. This is the inaugural class for the Fan Show Hall of Fame, class of 2020. And I really wanted the 5 inductees to be those that embody the spirit of the Fan Show. Amir, as a coach, he's been nothing short of fantastic. High energy, a great guy, would give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. Always gave me a place to crash and asked if I ever needed anything when I visited him, when he was here in Spokane, in Spokane, not here in Sioux Falls, but then with the Bloomington Edge, and hopefully in the future with the Iowa Barnstormers. And you have Nick Hague, who as a player, there's not a guy that you want more in your locker room than Nick Hague. His energy, his presence, just everything that he does on and off the field. Cody Barber, kickers need love too. He's sort of started that movement with me, and he has been one of the guys spearheading just fan interaction and what it means to be a player in the world of indoor and arena football. Even if he doesn't go pro, he's very proud and happy with the career he's had indoors and the impact he's had on other players, fans, staff, coaches alike. My wife, there would not be a Fan Show without her. She does so much work behind the scenes and even on location in my absence. There's so much that you don't see from her that this just really wouldn't be possible without her. So she, without a doubt, the first woman and part of the inaugural class. That was a no-brainer. And as far as the first fan inductee, Mike Ellis, I wish he would have lived to see this day, but he was the standard of fan, as I mentioned on the Facebook post when I announced it, and he was just overly friendly. Everybody loved Mike. There wasn't a negative thing that anybody had to say, even for the sake of not saying it. Like, I really don't think you could rack your brain hard enough to think of a negative comment about Mike Ellis. So he is the first fan inductee. Those are your 5 inductees for the inaugural class of the Fan Show Hall of Fame. So cue the music. Well, we don't have theme music for it just yet. We will have a ceremony, though, via Zoom, so I hope that you guys can join us. I will get the awards out to the inductees. Of course, Mike to his wife, Carrie, so I'm very excited for that, working with a special company for some special awards. And then we'll have a ceremony, and you guys will be able to watch that probably next month. So we'll have some kind of music for that. But until then, we've got music recommendations from the Fat Bearded Vinyl Guy once again. So, Matt, what are you spinning today?
Hey Fan Nation, I am Matt the Fat Bearded Vinyl Guy, and I am back in the vinyl lair. Today I am spinning one of my favorite live records, Johnny Cash at San Quentin. The San Quentin record was one of 4 albums that Johnny Cash recorded in prisons between 1968 and 1976. The first of those being the famous Folsom Prison. The Folsom record is more famous, but I prefer the energy of the San Quentin record. The San Quentin show was recorded in February of 1969 and released in June of that same year. The San Quentin album is known mostly for, well, I guess you could say the first 3 tracks on side 2. The first 2 are the song San Quentin, a song Johnny Cash wrote, obviously, about the prison. He decided to play it twice because the inmates in attendance wanted him to play it again. Then came the Shel Silverstein song Boy Named Sue. This was the first time Cash had performed the song live. In fact, the crew filming and the band didn't know he was going to play it. Cash had the lyric sheet in front of him, while Carl Perkins and the Tennessee Two improvised the rest behind him. The San Quentin performance also produced possibly the most famous picture of Johnny Cash, the one with his middle finger extended. There are 2 conflicting stories, one from Cash himself saying he was frustrated with the camera crew blocking his view of the audience, and there was another from the photographer Jim Marshall, who said it was taken during a rehearsal. Considering that he's not wearing his iconic black suit, I'll have to side with the photographer here. That's all for now. For more music talk and vinyl shenanigans, go to fatbeardedvinylguy.com. You'll find links to my social media, Facebook and Instagram, as well as the new YouTube channel.
All right, thank you, Matt, once again for the excellent musical recommendation. What you spin is always good. I have taken a lot of what he's recommended and checked it out, and like I said, his musical taste, kind of second to none. He knows his music, and his videos are getting better and better. Now, before we get to our interview segment, this week in fan show history, we were actually starting to release some of the BattleBots content from the last 2 years that I had been able to attend the live tapings. You attend them in April, you can't release anything until, later on for when Discovery sets the dates for when it's going to premiere on the Discovery and Science Channel. But I had seen some photos floating around. I got to share my first interview with Andrea Suarez, or Andrea Galately, actually now. She was not married then. She is now, happily. And as far as our robotics division goes, been pretty quiet because BattleBots and the tapings is on hold. But Maker Faire Miami is not. That's happening this weekend, virtually. So if you guys are into robotics, BattleBots, and other, I suggest checking out Maker Faire Miami. So have fun with that, guys. And the Massachusetts Pirates, for whatever reason, I thought their press conference was yesterday. I was a week off, my bad. So their press conference will be next Wednesday at 2 Eastern, 1 Central. And I'm pretty confident I know what the announcement will be because the IFL is wrapping up its expansion meetings today. They had to have a third one, per Commissioner Todd Tryon telling me, yeah, we're going to have one more to see what we can get done for 2021 and 2022. They're working hard. As always, go IFL, go Todd Tryon. And speaking of IFL, I welcome a very special guest as we support women in sports. My good friend, Destiny Brown. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now, a very special treat because, as if you didn't already know, we here at the Fan Show, we're all about supporting women in sports, and today we celebrate women in sports. She is the Assistant GM for the Quad City Steamwheelers, Destiny Brown. Destiny, welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing even better now. It's always a pleasure to talk with a friend of mine, somebody who's in the Indoor Football League to some capacity, player, coach, staff, or otherwise. But like I said, it's never a bad time to support your friends, especially when a lot of people are losing their jobs left and right. But supporting those you might not really see on a regular basis in that kind of industry. Women in sports is becoming more of a regular thing, so I applaud you. And as your debut on the F.A.N show, the first question is, of course, what's it like to be Destiny Brown?
Well, lately it's been pretty interesting. Just with the way that the indoor world of football is, and not having a season this year is really devastating for everyone. But over here at the Quad Cities, we have a very small staff, so we are, I'm sure like everyone else, they operate as a family, but we're a very tight-knit group. So it's been very odd not having Coach Ross around and Doug, going in and out of the state often, just trying to keep things afloat for the Steamwheelers here and push forward into 2021. Looking forward to, having football back, hopefully, get COVID all passed through and back to business. It's an exciting thing, though, to be a part of indoor football. As you know, there's always something going on. It's a very close-knit group of people just working towards a common goal, trying to get these guys in here and then out to bigger and better things, just as well as staff and everybody involved. So it's exciting to be me when it comes to indoor football. And like I said, I'm hoping to get 2021 here, and things are going to look a lot more up when that comes around. So.
Well, it's great to talk to you. You're one of my closer friends that I have in the league. You, Ryan Hobson of Green Bay, I mean, you guys really get it, And what's funny is that, yes, I am wearing Quad City Steamwheeler merch. I got the only time I've been to the great Quad City area for a game, and it was an excellent one at that. But you guys really have, your work is cut out for you, because at this level, it's not cookie cutter across the board. So many people ask me what teams do right, what they do wrong, what I see at games I go to that I like, what I see that I don't. And you guys have checked off a lot of the boxes of things I do like. Doug Bland is one of the best in the business, plain and simple. That man, who I would not want to fight physically because he's a strong individual, but he is business savvy. He gets it. I think your guys' setup there is great. Having people like yourself and Nigel Stevens on staff is another win for you guys. And you guys had a hell of a talented roster, offensively and defensively. I was so excited to see you guys play. But, really, your guys' office, when I was working for that other team for a period of time, there was a lot of talk about office space. And I said, you guys need to see what they're doing over there in Quad City, because they just put up the video of the new office space, and it looks like as professional as indoor professional can be. Like, how did that come about, and what's it like with having that office space for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. So that was a Doug Bland deal there, obviously. Like you said, one of the best in the business. He definitely knows how to try to get the guys the best of the best. And that's kind of what our idea was going into it, is just how can we make this organization better? We started here in 2018, so this would have been our third season. We hit the ground running from the start, and Doug did a great job of just coming in and trying to rebuild something that was once here, but also make it better in its own, because of the legacy that the Steamwheelers already were. So when we got here, we had an office space over in downtown Moline. We were having a hard time just getting practice time scheduled in our arena with a hockey team and all the other events going on. So as soon as we got wind of the Betplex going up, Doug was in their ear like, hey, how do we make this deal happen? What can we do to get our guys, into this facility? Because we knew that it was going to have the big field. It was going to have the state-of-the-art workout equipment. And it was just an all-around great facility, and it was coming up in our community. And we wanted a partner, obviously, because that was the best opportunity that we saw for these guys to build them into, the best football players we could and put the best product out on the field. So that Doug had his hands in that for a while and was trying to cook that up. And so when that video came out, we were super excited to release that news to the Indoor Football League because, we want to be the best of the best. We want to have the best facilities, and obviously we want to bring in the best talent that we can. And with things like that and those type of amenities, we can provide those players with the best opportunity possible to get them to the next level. So, like I said, Doug did a great job working that deal, and we're excited. The facility's beautiful. We only got, obviously, a month of being in the actual facility with the guys, but I definitely enjoy it for the time being for everybody. So, it's great.
I think you guys really, there's a lot to love about your franchise and your organization at this level because, you're not going to have a lot of the average cookie cutter type names for teams. And I think the more that you can relate to your market, your city, and its history, the better. You guys are the Steamwheelers. It's one of my favorite names. Your guys' helmet design with the smokestacks is, really, it's just such a great design, the way that you guys play to everything. The uniforms have always been some of the best I've seen out on that field, whether it's the home blue, the alternate red, or that white. Really beautiful job. I just want to say that. And your guys' fans are awesome. The one time I've been there, it was a very welcoming feeling. Your guys' crowd turns out no matter who they're playing or no matter what. If you guys are a game away from a playoff berth or you've been eliminated for the last 4 weeks, they show up and they have a good time. You guys have, Casey, who's your PA guy, who's one of the best that I've been around. So really just applause to you guys, your organization, and everything for coming in on such short notice and just the success that you guys have been able to have. And even though you lost to the Sugar Skulls in a win and end game, it was a thrilling game. It really was. And that's why I was so excited to see what you guys had in store for, obviously, 2020. But now you get to save all that and bank it for 2021. But let's get to know you a little bit more. An assistant general manager of an indoor football team at a professional level. Is that, what were your aspirations and how has this come about? What's your journey been like to assistant GM?
Yeah, so actually, when I was a senior at the University of Iowa, I had caught wind that, hey, in 2017, they did a press release. Doug and Corey flew in to the Quad Cities and did a huge press conference saying, hey, we're bringing the Quad City Steamwheelers back to here. And it was a huge deal in this community because I'm sure you have knowledge of the past and what the Steamwheelers were to this community. So as soon as I caught wind of that, I remember I was sitting in my classroom and this popped up on my news feed and I was like, oh, I got to be a part of that. So I reached out to Doug a couple times and I'm sure things were crazy for him. So I actually didn't ever hear back from him. So I went to an event at St. Ambrose University here with some fellow UISRM students and a teacher. And we came in and I walked right up to Doug and I was like, look, how do I become a part of this? And I hadn't caught wind back from him or anything like that. And it was leading up to the beginning of the season. And I had wrote him a thank you letter and put a business card in there, which was a great recommendation from the University of Iowa. Their sports and rec program there is top notch. Doesn't get much better than that. But he reached out and he was like, hey, we're really interested. I remember meeting with you, but that thank you card and that follow-up, that got you a shoe in here. I want you here. So I remember hitting the ground running that first week and just kind of falling in love with Steamwheelers. I mean, I knew the past of them and what they brought to this community, and I knew I wanted to be a part of it. So I was just excited to get the opportunity. And so I worked really, really hard. I did game day ops. I kind of directed the interns. Crystal at the time was the person that oversaw me. And she took on a different venture. And so the opportunity came that Doug called me and I was like, hey, are you interested in coming and doing this? So I had just graduated and I was like, heck yeah. I was like, I can't walk away from this. Indoor football was just something I could not say no to. I fell in love with it as being an intern. And then I was the executive assistant my first season out of college. And then this past year, going into 2020, Doug, said, hey, your work ethic. He was very proud of how far I had come, and he had seen my growth and how hard I worked and how bad I wanted it. And I got that title this year going into 2020, so I was very excited for that. Because before I was just overseeing, I was the director of game day ops, had a team of interns, incredible interns, worked their butt off. Like as I said before, we are a very small staff. Corey's got his staff underneath him, and then it's me and Doug on the internal side of things. So it was just kind of jumping in and grabbing the reins and learning the business. And I couldn't be happier that I got the opportunity, and that someone like Doug Bland believed in me enough to give me the chance to show him what I was made of. So that's kind of my journey.
See, and isn't that just like the utmost of compliments when your hard work is recognized by the people you want to see working as hard as you are? Because really, I mean, that's what it is for me. Is I just love so much when I can put in the work and may or may not go above and beyond what's asked of me, but just for somebody to be like, you did really good with that, or like, I really like your attitude, your work ethic. So good on you for having that be recognized by Mr. Doug Bland. And obviously, with the indoor football season being canceled for 2020, we now look to 2021. I was curious, if you guys had talked anything about, with the recent cancellation of a few conferences for college football, we may or may not see the cancellation altogether of college football, but this has always been kind of a home for those looking for a second chance. Do you see anything kind of changing in the league, if college sports are canceled for the entirety of 2020 and now things get better enough that indoor can come back, and now all of a sudden, we have the attention of a lot more people than we did before?
Yeah, I think a huge thing is going to be when it can happen, people are going to want to watch sports. I mean, people are fiending for their sports fix right now. And with college football and all of these decisions, on whether or not they're going to be playing, I think that just builds the anticipation for whatever football anybody can grab at the time. So it'll be very interesting to see. I know you had a big announcement the other day talking about Big Ten, and you were kind of ahead of that. And that, like I told you, that was a huge thing for me because I hadn't even heard anything yet. So you made the pill a little bit easier to swallow when I heard, but it still didn't let up on that. So it still hurts a little, but it's going to be interesting and to see how everything plays out. I know we're going full sail ahead, just planning to, have 2021 and to get the ball rolling again. But I think what we talked about a little bit earlier, just this COVID-19, just trying to figure out, what is the future of sports right now? How do we move forward? What can we do to still engage fans, get people excited? It's gonna be tough. I don't know if I have the right answer. I'm sure everybody's sitting there trying to figure it out, and I'm not sure anybody really has come up with much yet, just because I don't think anybody ever anticipated sports to do what it has. And you think what's never going to fail us, what's going to always be something that we can rely on. I think sports was it, and now we're seeing, in these times we have to try to figure it out and just see how we can move forward. So that's a tricky question. I wish I had an answer for you, but I think we're all on the same page as far as just trying to build the best product we can. I know as well as I do that indoor football, as it stands, we have to put those butts in the seats. We have to get people into those arenas. We don't have the big college TV deals or the like the NFL Elite 2. So it's all about trying to get those people back. So I'm not sure if that answered your question to the to the full capability, but like I said, I don't really know if there's a correct answer as trying to find out the perfect fix for that.
I think it will prove its own challenge. All eyes are on the NFL now, like I've been saying for weeks. I said it's going to come down to the domino that is the NFL, and how that falls. Because if you ever want to know if something's true or false, follow the money. And so many people say that the whole COVID thing is just a hoax. Well, if college football season cancels, the NCAA, which is one of the biggest organizations in the world, is going to lose millions upon millions of dollars. So I ask you, is it real? Is it a hoax? Because I feel like, it can happen to so many coming down the line, but once it gets to you and now your pocketbook, things change a little bit. So we may or may not ever know, but I do know that it has created its own sets of challenges and its own sets of how do we go about things the way that they are. And so the NFL will happen, and then we'll see what happens with the world of indoor ball. What does the next, few seasons, few years look like for you? Assistant GM, that's a pretty spot to sit in. But do you have aspirations like beyond that? Would you like to own or manage your own franchise sometime?
I think that's the dream. It takes a lot to become an owner of an IFL team, and I'd love to see myself as the official general manager of a sports organization. Right now, sports is so crazy. I think I'm just happy to be where I'm at and where I am, and just to be able to try to keep building within the Quad City Steamwheelers and make it the best that I can, because that's what this time has allowed, at least for me, is to sit back and think, what can we do? How can we make this better, not only for our players, the organization as a whole, but for our fans and for the people involved, the sponsors, the people that are the backbone, of the organization. So, like I said, as it stands for me, I think my goals right now and aspirations are just to try to keep this boat afloat. I love to use that terminology. Obviously, it fits very well. For as long as I can, and keep trying to build this place up and make it the best I can be. Obviously, we want to bring championships to the Quad Cities, and just continue that community outreach, make this as big as we can. I think indoor football is going to continue to grow, and I hope to be a part of that journey and to see it, develop into everything that I know it can be, as long as we keep down the same route that we're going. I've had my aspirations. NFL would be a beautiful thing to be a part of. But like I said, as time stands right now, I think I'm very happy with where I'm at. And if the opportunity arises when this COVID-19 thing passes, to put, myself back out there and to try to talk to these NFL teams and get a spot, I think that would be the goal. I think that would be an incredible opportunity, and I'd love to grow in that realm as well. So
I think you're right where you're happy to just have a position in the world of sports right now, because not many do. So I congratulate you on that. Quad City is a great organization to be a part of. I said my praises early on, but I try to visit as many markets as I can. And my first impression tends to go a long way. And my first impression of Quad City and the Steamwheelers was one where I couldn't wait to go back. So I was hoping to have that opportunity, obviously, in 2020, but that'll have to wait another season. And I wish that I could say that this was one of those like signing day moments where I could say, yeah, I'm team Steamwheelers now. But, I just like to support my friends. You guys already have a great team there, your broadcast team and everything. And I hope that I can continue to be involved, be it bringing the fan show and some game day, like environment that I've done before to the league, and that we can have a proposal put together to make that a real deal. Because I think, indoor football game day would be a lot of fun for all the teams, especially with the growth. But, if you guys ever need any help there in Quad City with the Steamwheelers, please let me know. You guys are much closer now than you were before. I will say that.
Right. Well, and me and you have talked before. You're like family here. Like you said earlier, Quad City's welcomed you with open arms. I know everyone was thrilled to have you. I know I have a couple of fans that reached out to me and said, do you know if he's going to be at the first home opener? And I was like, I would hope to see him, but we were hoping to get you out there some point this year. But obviously with the plans, I was thrilled to see you in Cedar Rapids. That was a great, exciting surprise for me. But you're always in the back of our minds here in the Quad City. So like you said, we have an excellent team here, but you never know what the future could hold, and I'd be thrilled if we could ever get you out here. So keep shooting for the stars. I'm incredibly proud of your journey. You do an amazing job at what you do, and I have no doubt that someone is going to grab you up. So just keep working hard, and that's all I can say. That's my biggest piece of advice that I could pass on to anybody is it gets tough, you know, being someone who's trying to aspire to get any sort of position in this industry, but especially at this level too, because it's such a tight niche group of people, and people don't really rotate. People don't really move around. People are really, they find it and they fall in love with where they're at. So, but like I said, I'd be thrilled if we ever got the opportunity to bring you here, and you're always in the back of my mind. So keep that on your shoulder, and keep fighting like you have, and keep pushing forward. And I have no doubt, like I said, I'll see you somewhere. So.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, but of course we are talking about you supporting women in sports, celebrating women in sports. So a segue from that to this, is there a message you have for young women out there looking to get into sports?
Yeah, my message honestly would be same thing I just told you, shoot for the stars. I don't think that too many people get taken back by the thought that, oh, this is a male-dominated industry, or this is, you know, this sports is more so a male-dominated thing. And I think that's where we create a stigma around that, when honestly, you just have to go for it. If there's something that you're passionate about, if you have goals, if you have aspirations to do something, there is nothing or no one standing in the way of accomplishing whatever you would like to do. And being a woman in this industry, I'll tell you what, it feels pretty badass to be able to step up and do, you know, whatever my counterparts can do. And I know everybody out there all has their goals and their dreams, and I really don't think that anybody can stop you as long as you don't stop yourself. So that's my biggest thing. And the Steamwheelers are always looking for women interns, so bring them my way.
That's right. She is Destiny Brown. She kicks ass. She takes names. She is full steam ahead as the assistant general manager. I say again, assistant general manager of an indoor football franchise, the Quad City Steamwheelers. We're certainly proud of you here at the Fan Show. I have no doubt that you will find your place as a future Fan Show Hall of Famer if you keep doing what you're doing, all right? So thank you so much for your time, Destiny. It really was an honor.
Yeah, always. Thank you very much.
All right, you take care now.
You as well.
And one more big thank you to my friend Destiny Brown for making her debut on the Fan Show. Always a fun conversation with her. Can't wait to visit the Quad Cities again and see the Steamwheelers in action. Hopefully that is what 2021 holds for me as an IFL fan. But she has some great aspirations. She really rocks at her job as assistant GM. I have a lot of aspirations myself. I made a post on Facebook on my personal page earlier today. You know, if I don't get picked up by another team or the league, I want to take the Fan Show to the next level. I want to get an RV. I want to go on a tour. I want to have the Fan Show presents IFL Game Day. Still hashtag free agent right now. A league or a team that wants me, that wants to take their team or their league to the next level. And even though I didn't get a chance to see a season with the Storm, what I was able to do for that team in my short time there, it really speaks for itself, okay? I'm not going to try to pat myself on the back right now, but a lot of people have reached out to me to compliment me on the work I did in such short amount of time with that franchise. So if you're a franchise in need of someone with my particular skills and talent that want to take your team, and this goes for the league as well, to the next level, I'm the man that can do it. I could probably do it for cheaper than if you got somebody already doing it, but I'm not out to try to snipe jobs from anybody. I'm just saying I'm a free agent. I'm available, willing to relocate, so let's get it done. Let's make 2021 the best season ever for you and yours. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I thank all 121 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Content's getting a lot of love, but please tell your friends and share the love, spread the word, and make sure that if you can't watch on Facebook or YouTube, if you're more of a listener, then you subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio. There we go. And that'll do it for episode 467. The plan is to have Commissioner Todd Tryon on next week for episode 468. So make sure that you are following the social media pages for that announcement if and when it happens. Either way, we will have another great special guest for you as we are moving onward and upward to infinity and beyond. And remember, it's not official unless it's Fan Show official, and we are officially out of here. Till next time, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners! And remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks!
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.